Roberto Martínez Montoliú is a Spanish former footballer who is the current manager of Everton. Martínez played as a defensive midfielder and began his career at Real Zaragoza, with whom he won the Copa del Rey. He spent a year at lower league side CF Balaguer, before signing for English third division side Wigan Athletic. Becoming part of a small Spanish contingent at the club known as the Three Amigos alongside Jesús, Seba and Isidro Díaz, he was a regular first-team player for 6 years, the longest period of time he spent at one club. During his time there, he won the Football League Third Division and the Football League Trophy. He moved to Scottish side Motherwell, then to Walsall, before joining Swansea City in 2003. He became club captain and helped the team to win promotion to League One in 2005. He moved to Chester City in 2006, and was again chosen to be captain. In 2007, he retired from playing to become manager of Swansea City, leading them to promotion from League One as champions. He then joined Wigan Athletic in 2009, helping the club avoid relegation for 3 consecutive seasons. In his 4th season Wigan were relegated, but won the FA Cup for the first time in the club's history. At the end of the 2012 Euro 13 season he left to become the manager at Everton. Early life. Born in Balaguer, Martínez began his career at his hometown club CF Balaguer in the Spanish Third Division, playing his first competitive game for the club's youth team when he was 9 years old. He played at every level of youth football for the club before moving to Real Zaragoza at the age of 16. Playing career, Martínez made his first appearance for the Real Zaragoza B team in 1991, but spent most of his first 3 seasons at the club playing for the youth teams. On June 20, 1993, he made his debut for the first team in La Liga on the final day of the 1992 Euro 93 season in a 2-2 draw with Atletico Madrid, coming onto the pitch as a substitute for Luis Carlos Cuatero in the 55th minute. During the following season, Martínez featured more regularly for the B team, helping the team regain promotion to the Segunda División B after being relegated in the previous season. In 1994, he returned to Balaguer to play for the first team, and also ran a football school for the club as an alternative to military service. Martínez was offered the chance to move to England by Dave Whelan, chairman of Wigan Athletic, and he signed on a free transfer on July 25, 1995, joining fellow Spaniards Jesús, Seba and Isidro Díaz, who were collectively referred to as the Three Amigos. He made his debut on August 12, 1995 against Gillingham, scoring for Wigan in a 2-1 defeat. He finished the 1995 Euro 1996 season as the club's top goal scorer with 13 goals in all competitions, and his impressive performances were recognised when he was named in the Division 3 PFA Team of the Year, and was also voted by the supporters as the club's Player of the Year. Martínez won his first honours at the end of the following season, in 1996 Euro 1997, when Wigan finished as Division 3 champions. He was once again named in the Division 3 PFA Team of the Year, and was rewarded with a new 4-year contract. Martínez was also at Wigan when the team won the Football League Trophy in 1999, which he received a winner's medal for despite being injured when the final was played. He spent 6 seasons at Wigan, making 180 appearances for the club, with a further 47 as substitute, and scoring 23 goals. Released by Wigan on a free transfer at the end of the 2000 Euro 01 season, Martínez signed a 3-year deal with Scottish club Motherwell in July 2001. He made only 8 appearances, plus 8 more as a substitute, before having his contract terminated at the end of the season after the club had entered administration a week earlier. He moved back to England to join First Division club Walsall on a free transfer in August 2002. Again, he did not feature regularly, starting just 1 game for Walsall and making a further 5 appearances as a substitute. In January 2003, Martínez joined Swansea City on a short-term contract until the end of the season, becoming the captain and helping to preserve the club's Football League status on the last day of the season. In June 2003, despite reported interest from First Division clubs, Martínez signed a new contract with Swansea. At the start of the 2004 Euro 05 season, Martínez was dropped from the squad by manager Kenny Jackett, but fought his way back into the first team, making 37 league appearances as the club won promotion to League One. By the end of 2005 a Euro 06 season, he had made 111 appearances for Swansea City, with a further 11 as substitute, and had scored 4 goals. In May 2006, Martínez was released by Swansea on a free transfer. Martínez joined Chester City on a free transfer, signing a 2-year contract. In February 2007, he returned to Swansea City as manager, replacing Kenny Jackett, who had let him go at the end of the previous season. This appointment was mostly met positively from the fans, despite him not having any managerial experience. Because his move to Swansea occurred outside the transfer window, Martínez could not register himself to play for the club for the remainder of the season. Although Martínez initially wanted to continue playing football for as long as possible, he soon felt that he would be unable to fully commit to a player-manager role, bringing his playing career to an end at the age of 33. His last ever competitive match as a player was Chester's won a Euro 0 win against Bury on February 21, 2007. Managerial career, Swansea City. With Martínez in charge, Swansea lost just once in 11 games, giving them a chance of clinching a playoff place on the final day of the 2006 Euro 07 season, but missed out following a 6 Euro 3 defeat at home against Blackpool. Martínez won his first League One Manager of the Month award for October 2007 by leading his team to 4 straight wins in 4 in the league, including a 5 Euro 0 win and a 4 Euro 1 win over Leyton Orient and Bournemouth, respectively, away from home. He went on to win the award consecutively, in December after a thrilling 3 Euro 2 win over Leeds United at the Swans Liberty Stadium, and in January after a second 4 Euro 0 win away from home against Doncaster Rovers. He was also nominated for the February prize but lost out to John Ward, manager of Carlisle United. In April 2008, Martínez signed a new contract with Swansea as the club became League One champions, securing promotion to the Championship, and in May 2008, he was awarded the League One Manager of the Year award for leading Swansea to the title. The 2008 Euro 09 season saw Martínez preside over Swansea's first game in England's second-tier division in 24 years, which began poorly with a 2 Euro 0 defeat away at Charlton Athletic. Subsequently, Swansea's form improved and they lost only 4 games out of the next 30, including a number of key league victories against opponents such as Reading and Wolverhampton Wanderers. Martínez also guided his team to a 2 Euro 0 FA Cup win against Premier League side Portsmouth, who were the defending cup holders. Throughout his time at Swansea, Martínez was often linked with other managerial jobs, but he repeatedly stated that he would only leave Swansea as manager if he was forced out. As his success grew, he publicly criticised players that left the club for money or for larger clubs. In June 2009, both Celtic and Wigan Athletic asked Swansea for permission to speak with Martínez regarding their managerial vacancies, with Wigan being granted the opportunity to hold talks with Martínez. After several days of negotiations, Martínez was confirmed as the new manager of Wigan, taking 4 backroom staff with him. Martínez signed a 3-year contract worth £1.5 million and was assured by Wigan chairman Dave Whelan that his job would be safe for the next 3 years, even if the club suffered relegation. Wigan Athletic. Martínez's move to Wigan was not without controversy. Many Swansea fans were upset that he had chosen to leave the club despite his previous comments that he would have to be forced out to leave the club, and he was subsequently nicknamed El Judas by some fans. Martínez explained that his decision had been a difficult one to make, but felt the opportunity to manage in the Premier League at the club where he began his English footballing career was too good to turn down. His first league game as Wigan manager was an away fixture against Aston Villa on August 15, 2009. Wigan won the match 2 Euro 0, and was the first season they had won an opening game in the Premier League. In his first home game at the DW Stadium, however, the team slumped to a 1 Euro 0 defeat to newly promoted Wolverhampton Wanderers, and this was followed by a 5 Euro 0 defeat against Manchester United, despite being 0 Euro 0 at half-time. This inconsistency set the tone for Martinez's first season in charge, with home wins against Chelsea, Liverpool and Arsenal, but also a series of heavy defeats. This included a 9-1 defeat away to Tottenham Hotspur on November 22, 2009, a club record defeat for Wigan, and the first time that a Premier League side had scored 9 goals in a single match since Manchester United beat Ipswich Town 9-0 in 1995. On the final day of the season, Wigan suffered another heavy defeat, losing 8-0 to Chelsea, a result which gave their opponents the Premier League title. The club finished the season in 16th place, thus avoiding relegation, but they had a goal difference of €42, which was the worst in the Premier League. On October 26, 2010, Martinez faced his former club Swansea in the League Cup. Martinez received a hostile reception from Swansea fans as Wigan won the match 2-0. On June 10, 2011, it was announced that Martinez had turned down an approach from Aston Villa regarding their vacant managerial position, and had signed a new contract with Wigan. After a good start to the 2011 Euro 12 campaign, Wigan suffered 8 straight defeats to leave them at the bottom of the league. Between August and February, Wigan won a mere 4 games, leading to predictions that relegation to the Championship would be inevitable for Wigan. As the end of the season approached, however, Wigan's form improved dramatically as they recorded wins against Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United, and Newcastle United, among others. This remarkable late rally, which involved 7 wins in 9 games, led to Wigan finishing 15th in the league, Euro 7 points clear of relegation Euro, and also saw Martinez awarded his first Premier League Manager of the Month award for April 2012. On May 17, 2012, Wigan chairman Dave Whelan confirmed that Liverpool had been given permission to discuss their managerial vacancy with Martinez. However, the job eventually went to Swansea manager Brendan Rodgers. Martinez said that he wished to remain at Wigan in order to create a legacy at the club. On September 26, 2012, Martinez was charged by the FA for comments made after Wigan's 4-0 loss to Manchester United on September 15, 2012. He accused match officials of favouring United at Old Trafford and said that Danny Welbeck should have been sent off. During the 2012 Euro 13 season, Martinez led Wigan through their most successful ever FA Cup campaign as they won it for the first time in the club's history. Wigan's previous best result in the competition had been to reach the quarter-finals. Martinez led Wigan to their first Wembley semi-final after a 3-0 away win against Everton in the quarter-final. Wigan faced Millwall in the semi-final on April 13, 2013, and went on to reach their first ever FA Cup final with a 2-0 win. He played Manchester City on May 11, and won 1-0 with a goal in the 91st minute from substitute Ben Watson to become the 43rd different club to win the FA Cup. Just 3 days after lifting the FA Cup at Wembley though, on May 14, 2013, Martinez's Wigan side were relegated from the Premier League after a 4-1 defeat against Arsenal, having been in the Premier League since promotion in 2005. Everton. On May 28, 2013, Wigan chairman Dave Whelan announced that Martinez received permission to speak to Everton about their vacant managerial position. Whelan said that he feels he's not the man to lead us back into the Premier League. Whelan said Everton chairman Bill Kenwright contacted him a week earlier for permission to speak to Martinez if talks broke down. Whelan said he gave permission immediately, with Mr. Kenwright being the gentleman that he is, but added that he expected Everton to pay compensation of around £2 million. On June 5, 2013, Everton confirmed the appointment of Martinez as the club's 14th manager after agreeing to a 4-year contract. Everton also agreed to send a compensation package of around £1.5 million to Wigan. Kenwright had interviewed 3 candidates within his club, and Martinez was the only candidate who was approached while contracted to another club. On July 4, Martinez brought 4 members of his Wigan Athletic backroom staff to Everton, following the departures of various members of David Moyes' previous backroom staff who followed him to Manchester United the same week. Graham Jones was appointed assistant manager, Akai Bergara became goalkeeping coach, Richard Evans was appointed as head of performance and former England international footballer Kevin Reeves was appointed head scout. On July 10, he signed winger Gerard Deulofeu on loan from FC Barcelona. His first Premier League game in charge of Everton was a 2-2 draw away to Norwich City on August 17. Martinez's first league win as Everton manager came against Chelsea on September 14. When Everton beat West Ham United 3-2 in their next game, it meant that Martinez became the first ever manager of the club to avoid defeat in his first 6 games. However, the run did not last, as in the next fixture Fulham won 2-1 in the third round of the League Cup. On April 12, 2014, Martinez led Everton to a 1-0 win away at Sunderland to move Everton up to 4th place in the Premier League and register a club record 7th straight Premier League win, which also gave them a club record Premier League points tally with 5 games remaining. Martinez represented Everton at the Hillsborough Memorial Service at Anfield on April 15, 2014, giving a well-received speech. On April 20, 2014, Everton won 2-0 at Goodison Park to make Martinez the first Everton manager since Harry Catterick in the 1969-70 season to record a league double over Manchester United. Martinez signed a new 5-year contract after the season ended. Broadcasting career: Martinez served as a studio analyst for ESPN's coverage of the 2010 World Cup, as well as the 2013 FIFA Confederations Cup. He has also been a regular guest on Sky Sports' Spanish football program Revista de la Liga. In addition to that, he has made several appearances on the BBC's Match of the Day. During UEFA Euro 2012, Martinez was part of the ITV analyst team, and also contributed once again to the analysis on ESPN. Martinez doubled as a studio analyst and in-match color commentator for the 2014 FIFA World Cup on ESPN. Personal life: in June 2009, Martinez married his Scottish girlfriend Beth Thompson at St Joseph's Cathedral in Swansea. The couple met in Scotland in 2002, while he was playing for Motherwell. They have a daughter together called Lola. Whilst playing for Real Zaragoza, Martinez obtained a bachelor's degree in physiotherapy. He also has a postgraduate diploma in business management, which he obtained from Manchester Metropolitan University. Managerial style and tactical philosophy: Roberto Martínez favours an attacking style of football with importance to both passing and possession. Career statistics: club, managerial statistics, as of match played May 11, 2014. Honours: player, Real Zaragoza, Copa del Rey, 1993-94, Wigan Athletic, Football League 3rd Division, 1996-97, Football League Trophy, 1998-99, Swansea City, Football League Trophy, 2005-06, Manager, Swansea City, Football League 1, 2007-08, Wigan Athletic, FA Cup, 2012-13, Individual, League 1 Manager of the Year, 2007-08, Wigan Athletic Player of the Year, 1995-96, PFA 3rd Division Team of the Year, 1995-96, 1996-97, Premier League Manager of the Month Award, April 2012, Football League 1 Manager of the Month Award, October 2007, December 2007, January 2008. References: General, Martinez, Roberto. Kicking Every Ball, My Story So Far. Wylolfa. ISBN A978-1-84771-085-7 Specific. External links: Roberto Martinez Career Stats at Soxabase, Roberto Martínez Montoliú Football, Roberto Martinez Profile WorldFootball.net, Roberto Martinez Profile at Everton FC.